As you may have seen, we at MKII are bringing you a Mark II version of the STECS Modern Throttle Right Grip. This version provides the option for a mini stick at the thumb position, index position, or both depending on your preference. In this video, we'll show you how to swap the original right throttle grip with the upgraded one. The first thing you'll want to do is unplug the STECS from your computer or USB hub and unlink the grip halves. On the stem of the right grip, you'll find a plate that covers the internal wiring, attached via 3 self-tapping screws. Remove these screws. After taking off the plate, you will find 4 hex screws underneath and 2 more on the opposing side of the stem. These screws secure the grip to the base. Remove these screws as well. Once the screws and plate have been set aside, we can move on to unplugging the grip connector from the main base. Release the connector by carefully pressing in the tab and pulling it out without the use of excessive force or wiggling. If it is hard to access the connector, you may pull the grip out by a centimeter or so to create more space. With the connector unplugged, we can carefully slide the grip off of its rails. Installing the new grip simply entails the same steps in reverse. We'll slide the new grip in gently, taking care not to let the wires get snagged, and then secure it to the base with the 6 hex screws from earlier. Do not over-tighten these screws, and be mindful of cross-threading. Plug the grip connector in. If you encounter resistance, check your orientation. Manage the wires so that they'll be out of the way of the covering plate, and then you can re-secure the plate with the 3 self-tapping screws. Once again, being mindful of cross-threading and over-tightening. At this point, the hardware side of the upgrade is complete. We'll want to initialize this new setup by performing an input combo. Press the End button and right trigger simultaneously and hold them while you plug the STECS into your computer or USB hub. Upon plugging in the STECS, you may release the buttons. If this input combo does not work, you'll need to flash your STECS with newer firmware. Let's review firmware flashing. If you don't have it already, download zBootloader and the latest firmware package from the links below. In zBootloader, select the STECS from the device list. Press the Start Boot button. Click the menu button to select a file. Choose the STECS firmware. And then click the Flash It button. When the device is successfully flashed, zBootloader will close automatically. Next, let's run vkb dev config. To initialize and calibrate the device, you'll need to select it in the device list. Click the big red default button under the Tools tab, and then select Yes in the config pop-up. To calibrate, just follow the instructions on the screen. At this point, the STECS has been successfully upgraded and is ready to be used in-game. Before we go, let's also do a quick walkthrough on installing the included analog thumbstick module. On the existing OTS module, there are 2 round head screws and 2 flat ones. Unscrew the round ones. With the module now unsecured, gently pull it out a small distance to expose the connectors. These modules have 2 connectors. As usual, release the connectors by pressing the tabs in and pulling straight out in a smooth motion without using excessive force or wiggling. Grabbing the replacement module, we'll now be plugging the connectors into it. Note that the 2 connectors are different sizes. If you encounter resistance while trying to plug a connector in, first check that it is the correct connector for the receiver, and also check your orientation. With the module now wired to the grip, gently seat it into the socket. Minimal effort should be used to install the module. If any resistance is encountered here, then the module is not aligned properly. Roll the module to another orientation and try again. The caps are interchangeable between the 2 modules. Use whichever you prefer. After swapping the OTS module, the grip will need to be reinitialized as shown in the guide below or earlier in the video.